What really causes pimples? Have you ever looked at the mirror and suddenly noticed a pimple and thought, wait, what is that? Because pimples have absolutely no respect for timing. You can have an important meeting tomorrow, a date, a wedding, and somehow your skin will say, perfect, let us put a volcano in the middle of your head. And the worst part, it always looks bigger in the mirror. You see a tiny pimple, then you move closer, closer, and closer. Now you are basically inside your own pores. And you're like, Jesus, who is living in there? But here is the interesting part. Pimples aren't simply caused by dates. Your skin is actually going through a simple biological drama. And so today we are finding out what really causes pimples. My name is Tula, Quality Assurance Inspector, a microbiologist and a food nutritionist. Let's start with your pores. Your pores are not just holes. Inside your skin are tiny hair structures called hair follicles, and attached to many of these follicles are sebaceous glands. These glands produce something called sebum, basically oil. Your skin produces oil naturally, and before you start shouting oil, you are the problem. Relax. Sebum actually has a job. It helps keep your skin moisturized and protect the skin barrier. The problem is when there is too much of it. Imagine pouring cooking oil into a bottle and then you continue pouring. At some point, the bottle will say, boss, where exactly do you want this oil to go? And that is basically what can happen inside the follicle. Too much of sebum and dead skin cells can start blocking the follicle. And congratulations, you have just created a perfect environment for a pimple to form. How does the pimple actually form? When the follicle gets clogged, you can develop what is called a comedon. And if the opening remains open, you may get a blackhead. And here is something, that blackhead isn't necessarily dead. So stop looking at your nose thinking, I need to wash my face harder. The dark color is likely caused by the contents of the pores reacting with oxygen. So basically, your blackhead is getting darker because of oxidation. Science has entered the chart. If the follicle is closed, you can get a whitehead. But sometimes, things get more dramatic because your skin naturally has microorganisms living on it, including Cotibacterium acnes. Don't worry, you don't need to remember the name, just call it C. acnes. These bacteria normally live on our skin, but when the follicle becomes clogged, the environment may become favorable for them, and your immune system notices. Your immune system basically looks at the situation and says, who started this? Then inflammation begins. And now that tiny small pore has upgraded itself from small problem to a red painful announcement. Then the hormones show up. Now let's bring in one of the biggest troublemakers, hormones, especially during puberty. Androgens, including testosterone, can stimulate sebaceous glands to produce more sebum, and more sebum means more oil, and more oil can increase the chance of follicles becoming clogged. And this is the reason acne becomes so common during puberty. And honestly, puberty was already stressful enough because your voice is changing, you're growing hair in places you never ordered, and then your skin decides, you know what this experience needs? Pimples. Wonderful. And here is another thing, people respond differently to hormones. Some people's sebaceous glands are very sensitive to hormones, and genetics can also influence how likely you are to develop acne. You might want to stop blaming your face. You may need to have a meeting with your family tree. What about chocolate? Now let's discuss the food accusations. Because whenever someone gets pimples, somebody will immediately say you have been eating chocolates or stop eating